Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Princeton Reverb. I've got a couple videos up. If you watched them or commented on them, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. But after thinking about it for quite some time, I thought I would put this up. The main point of this is there's nothing wrong with a Princeton Reverb out of the box, or even a used one that hasn't been goofed up by somebody else. Look, I'm for years have monkeyed around with electronics and stuff like that, and I enjoy doing that stuff. And so all the things that I've talked about doing, I don't mind doing them, and I have the knowledge and I have the tools, and it's not a big deal. But after looking around, I see where some people are out there and they're like, oh, you really got to change this wire over here to this socket and stuff like that. Look, this is just a bunch of bullshit as far as I'm concerned, okay? Now, the few things that I did on the Princeton Reverb, nice to do, but you don't need to do that. You don't even need to change the filter capacitors. Okay, did it make the hum better? Yes, less hum. Who notices it? When you're playing at home, most of you are playing at home or you're practicing or whatever, look, you just don't even notice the hum. The only thing I could see doing is if you're recording and you really wanted the ultra quiet sound or something, but even then, all the things that I showed how to do are okay. They helped it out a little bit, but they're just not necessary. So, be careful about getting into some of this stuff where, you're rewiring sockets and shit like that, because the fact is I don't want an amp that somebody else has been into monkeying around, unless they're really good, okay? A lot of guys have gone in and fucked up amplifiers. I've seen a lot of them. So I don't want to buy a modded amp. I don't want to buy an amp that somebody else went in and screwed around with or did a shitty soldering job on or something like that. So be careful, The fact of the matter is these Princeton Reverbs are really good amps straight out of the box, okay? And again, even a used one that's been well taken care of, nothing wrong with it. It's going to sound good. It's going to perform well. And it doesn't need all this stuff. Take it to a tech and spend your hard-earned money, okay? And leave it there for a couple of weeks or something while they go through it and change the wires on the sockets and all this other shit. So just play it. Just play it. And, here's the thing. We're spending a lot of time monkeying around with our amplifier instead of playing it, learning the music, learning how to read music, learning new music, learning your guitar, learning your fretboard, learning your notes. There's so many other things you could be doing, rather than taking the chassis out and trying to solder the wire to a different connector because it might be better. No. Okay, so here's the other thing I want to say. If you want to try and change a tone, this goes for any amplifier, right here. Good equalizer. I like this one, but there's other ones out there. A lot of people buy different pedals and stuff like this. Probably one of the best pedals you can have on your board is this, a tuner and this. And you can get a lot of different sounds out of it. And then lastly, the last thing I'd like to say about the amplifier is I want to talk just a little bit about tubes, okay? I am a very firm believer in the old United States of America tubes that were made back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And they're long out of production in the United States. One thing I do with my amplifiers, and again, I have the knowledge, more importantly, I have the tubes, okay? I'll retube my amplifiers and put in NOS, RCAs, GEs, Sylvanias, whatever I have on hand. Now, tubes last a long time. This business where people are changing tubes every 6 months and all this stuff, look, you can play hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours on your tubes. Even the Chinese tubes and the Russian tubes. They last a long, long, long time. I don't know why people are into tubes are expensive. why you would want to keep changing tubes, and because you think you hear something a little bit better. I doubt it. Okay. So if you're going to buy tubes, get on eBay or look around somewhere and find a nice set of GE or Sylvania or RCA tubes and get them, put them in. They'll last you for years and years and years, even if you're playing 3 or 4 hours a day. I have seen amplifiers come in that had tubes. These are 40, 50 years old. They got the same tubes in them, and they're fine. Likewise, I've seen amplifiers come in with 40 or 50-year-old tubes, and the tubes test at 35 or 40%, and the amplifier still sounds good. Yeah, believe it or not. Okay, so I think people are spending too much time farting around with their tubes, and I don't see any reason for it. And I would never go and buy a set of JJs or Mullards or whatever made in Russia when I can still buy USA tubes and put them in. They are way better, okay? And they're still out there. Well, why are they still out there? Because tubes last a long time. And I, like a lot of other people back 20 or 30 years ago, we were buying tubes off eBay and stuff like that. And they were coming out and they were all over the place and they were cheap. And I've accumulated a set of tubes. But the thing is, I don't ever use them. So I've sold a lot on eBay and made a bunch of money. But I still have a shitload of tubes. And I'll probably never use them because tubes just don't go bad. Once in a while you have a microphonic tube or you have a tube that doesn't work right. But trust me, your tubes, especially if they're good tubes, they're going to last a long time. So to wrap this whole thing up, the best advice I can give you is to play your instrument, learn your instrument, learn music, learn how to read music. Concentrate your time on the music. All this other stuff with taking your amp to the TAC and putting in new tubes and shit, it's not going to help you. It's going to cost you money. And it's going to cost you time away from practicing. So I hope that helps. Kind of just want to get this off my chest. I hope that the information that I did give you in those other videos was good. And if you like doing that sort of thing, great, go for it. You'll find very small incremental improvements. But the fact of the matter is, like a lot of people, you could just grab these things and play them and you're good to go. All right, hope that maybe clarified some stuff, or if it didn't, maybe you got something out of all that. All right, thanks a lot.